space for speakers to share their message. And I'm trying, okay. Yeah, so speaker to share their message, and I'm so excited to even share even more what's going to be coming in 2026. We're going to give you all a little peek into the future of what you're going to be getting. But today is all about our speakers who are presenting, and I am so excited to introduce Lisa Oliver, all the way from Zimbabwe, and she is also a missionary doing great work. And we have our own Kim Jordan from Minnesota, and Dr. Marisa Mason Smith from the Bahamas. When we were introduced to Dr. Marisa by Chrislyn, she came to the last book launch just to see Chrislyn, and she stayed for the entire 3 hours. Now she's a part of the new book, the new anthology, and here she is in Ascend Your Path. So so we are providing value to our participants. And Irene, good to see you, Irene.
Hi,
Yes.
everyone.
Yes. So I just want to say welcome to Ascend Your Path. And my business partner, Olga, is going to take care of some housekeeping rules. And then we'll kick this off.
Good morning, good day. I think it's no, for Munira might be it's not morning, right? But everybody else is still and Christine, yes, England +5 or whatever. So it's a good day, good evening. Welcome to Ascend Your Path today, October 25th, 2025. Our housekeeping rules are very, very simple. We are going to run this show for a couple of hours from 10 a.m. until noon Eastern Time. We are not going to have any break. So if you have to take a break, feel free to do it whenever. Just make sure that your camera is probably off and you cannot be on camera. Uh, please post your questions in the chat or just say them until the speaker is done talking, and then we will have the opportunity to ask all the questions. um what else? You can communicate in the chat. We always love seeing some interactions there, how you love the speaker, how you're learning from that speaker, all the golden nuggets. It's amazing, so please keep it in the chat as well. And what else? And at the end, of course, not today, but next week, early next week, you're going to get a recording with all the reminders and links for our speakers' free gifts.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Olga, thank you for sharing that. And I just want to recognize a friend of mine that I've known forever, and she's off camera now, but you can see she got a gorgeous picture up there. Dejana Gordon, and we've been journeying for many, many years. She's in New Jersey. And where did she disappear to? Did she just pop off? Did I call her name and she popped? Oh, yeah,
No, I just decided to show my face.
I'm so glad. Look at you. And she's getting ready, guys. She's getting ready to celebrate a huge birthday next year. So yeah, it is. So Dejana, thank you for joining us. I'm so excited. Dejana is a real estate agent doing wonderful work out there in Jersey. So hopefully she can come on here in the near future and present on this stage. So that's why we're here. So I'm truly excited. So without further ado, we're going to kick this off with our speakers because time is of the essence. And I just want to say, I thank everyone for joining us. I don't take this opportunity lightly because you could be using your time to do whatever you want, but you chose to spend time with us today. So this 2 hours, we want to really add value. Okay, so thank you, thank you, thank you. And today our first speaker is Lisa Oliver. And just to share a little bit about Lisa, let me get some notes up here. It's not going to be long. She has an extensive bio. And here it is. Lisa's topic today is Pen to Purpose. Write your way to a meaningful life. Lisa is a certified journal therapist based in Chehoe, Zimbabwe. Born and raised in South Africa, she relocated to Zimbabwe in 2015 after living in London for 15 years. Lisa is passionate about helping others discover clarity, direction, and purpose through reflective writing and intentional living. She has experienced firsthand how journaling can regulate emotions, unlock creativity, and foster a meaningful, purpose driven life. So, without further ado, let's bring to the stage Lisa.
The consequences or results of what happened with the life.
Right. Thank you, everybody. It's lovely to be here today.
But the simple part is
Has someone got a radio on?
all the house of
Oh, okay, there we go. So, thank you for that introduction, Diane. As Diane said, I am speaking to you today from a small little town in northern Zimbabwe called Chinhoyi. It is actually closer to the Zambian border than to South Africa, so we are quite far north. And we have been here 10 years. We came here from the UK, where we had lived for 15 years. And prior to that, I was born and raised in South Africa. So I've had the privilege of living in 3 very different countries. And for the last 10 years, we have made Zimbabwe home. And so when we moved here 10 years ago, we followed a very clear call. We felt there were some clear signs that there was some change in the air, and it was the right thing to do. And we arrived in Zimbabwe with a great deal of purpose. And it's had many ups and downs over the last 10 years. And I have always been a journaler, but certainly through the tough times and the readjustment of a huge international move, of moving from a first world country where everything works to a third world country where there's lots of daily challenges that are thrown at you all the time, I really had to lean hard into my journaling time to remind myself of the deeper meaning of why we made this move and to keep connected to my vision and purpose. There were many times where I wanted to repack the container and move straight back to the UK, but because I had this vision and I knew that we were called here, that really helped me stay grounded and keep going on the path that was set before me. And so as a result of that, and as a result of the ups and downs of the last 10 years, it has become very important to me. I've seen the importance of having a clear vision and having purpose in your life. And the importance of being able to really dig deep in yourself. When you are finding things that are tough around you, you've got to find the wellspring of life in your own heart, and you've got to draw from the well within you. And so the title of my talk today is From Pen to Purpose, Write Your Way to a Meaningful Life. And I'm going to be looking at 2 different aspects. The first aspect is, why is it so important to have vision and purpose in your life? And then the second aspect is, how can journaling be used as a tool to bring that into your life? And so in my experience, I have found that having a vision and a purpose in life is very important. We live in a very fast-paced world. I recently read an article that said we have moved from the age of entertainment into the age of distraction, where we can't even watch a movie now without checking our phone at the same time. I think, how many of you watch movies and you've got your phone and your Instagram on at the same time? And it's even a movie cannot keep our full attention these days. And so we find ourselves constantly bombarded with things that are vying for our attention. And it's all that we can do is sometimes just to get through our day, because there's things that are thrown at us, there are challenges, there are multiple roles we have to play throughout the day. And it feels like life throws a lot at us on a daily basis. And it's been my discovery as I've got older that some people never quite get around to figuring out what they want to do with their life. Their life just happens to them, and they just meander through life, and they find themselves in their 40s or their 50s, and they think, gosh, I'm halfway through my life and I haven't even got around to the things that I thought I wanted to do. And so the questions, the big the big heart questions are, what is your vision in life? What were you put here to do? It is so difficult to find the time to get around to asking those questions. And so I like to see journaling as an act of rebellion against the world of distraction. And I have seen how journaling forces you to slow down. There's even research that shows handwriting instead of typing is very good, because if you like me, I can type very, very quickly, but I write much slower. And so the act of slowing down, where your thoughts have to keep up with the speed that your hand forces your mind, forces your thoughts to slow down, and you actually just start to settle within yourself, and you start to ponder some of those deep questions and ponder some of the deeper meaning of life. And so asking yourself questions like, what makes my heart sing? Or what do I find really draining? And even if it's just a couple of sentences, they can be very illuminating and they can help you find out more about yourself. And it can all lead to finding purpose in your life. And what I have seen is that when you live your life according to your purpose and you are doing what you were called to do, it's like a train running smoothly on its tracks, where everything is grounded, and you just find that you have deep satisfaction and deep meaning in daily life. And so that is what I want to challenge you today. Some of you might have posed these questions to yourself. Some of you might not have done it for a long time. But what is your purpose in life? If you had to take some time and think about that and ask yourself, what was I put on this earth to do? And so when people are faced with that question, some of us are able to immediately get some answers and get some ideas because they've thought about it, and they can list off or tick a couple of things and say this and this and this, and that's wonderful. But there are others in a totally different category where they think, I don't know any of those answers. And earlier this year, when I was running a journaling workshop with a group of women, one lady put up her hand, and she was very real and honest, and she had buckets of tears, and she said, she was probably in her approaching 50, and she said, I used to know who I was, and I used to know what I wanted to do, but I've become so busy being a wife and being a mother and running my business and keeping my household that I actually have lost sight of who I am outside of those things. And when you get to that place, it really is okay. I think it's a good place to start. And when you are raw and honest and real with where you are, that is where you can start to build and you can start to work towards. And so there's an ancient Hebrew proverb that it's paraphrased, but it says, pay attention to the welfare of your innermost being. And I really love the way that has been phrased. Pay attention to the welfare of your innermost being. Because so often we pay attention to the welfare of other things. We'll pay attention to the welfare of our partner or our kids or our business or our finances. And often we neglect the thing that is most important, that brings the life into our life. And that is the welfare of our hearts. And I think that what I have learned is that nurturing your heart is not something you can do in a hurry. It's not something you can do when you're feeling stressed and busy and frantic. It is a slow process. And when you slow down, it is so rewarding. So when we neglect our hearts and our inner world, it will start to show in our lives. And when we nurture our heart and our inner world, it will show completely different fruit in our lives. And so I'd like to pause now and just ask ourselves, what is vision? So the definition that I came up with is, vision is a clear and inspiring mental image of the future you want to create. It represents where you want to be, what you want to achieve, and the person you want to become. Vision is about seeing possibilities and opportunities in your life and aligning your thoughts and your actions with those aspirations. And so if you don't have a vision for your life and you don't know the direction that you want to go, you will often find yourself you could find yourself anywhere, and you'll find yourself years down the line saying, this isn't the life I wanted. But it's because you didn't intentionally build towards the life that you did want. And so I've seen how important it is to have vision, because when you have vision, you get direction, you get clarity, and you get purpose. And especially in the world full of distractions, it helps you to stay centered and to stay grounded on what you find important. So without vision, it's easy to drift through life, and you're constantly reacting to what life is throwing at you. But when you have vision, it's like you take your life under control, and you are the one who gets to call the shots and make the decisions about who you want to become and where you want to go. And so another question that I've pondered is, what's the difference between goals and vision? And what I've learned is that vision is like the umbrella. It's the overarching big picture idea. And then goals are the concrete, actionable steps that you can take to get to your vision. So, for example, let's say you wanted to run a marathon. You say, by the end of this year, I'm going to run my first marathon. That's the vision. That's the big picture. But then you would have to break that down, because there's not many people that could just get up and run a marathon without training or taking some steps. Most of us would have to start at the beginning, and you would make some concrete action plan goals, like say, okay, I need to buy myself 2 pairs of running shoes so that I can avoid injury. I need to buy a sports watch. I need to join a running club. I'm going to start by training so that I can run 5 kilometers without stopping and without walking. And then I want to run it under half an hour. Then I'm going to run my first 10K marathon, 10K race. Then on this date, I want to aim for a certain time on my first half marathon. And finally, through training and planning and dedication and just doing your little bit every single day, you will get to that point where you run the marathon and the vision is achieved. And so goals are the small actionable steps that you take to get to your vision. They turn an abstract idea into a action. So what are some of the benefits of journaling? So first of all, what is journaling, and how is journaling different to keeping a diary? So keeping a diary is the act of a chronological account of your life, where you take just the little bits of your day, and it's just a record of the external parts of your day, of some of the things you did or the things you achieved. But journaling, it's like where a diary keeps a record of external events. A journal is outside of time, and it doesn't bow to chronological time, because when you journal, you can journal about a flashback from a childhood trauma or a very happy childhood memory. You can journal into the future about an event that you are worried about that hasn't yet happened, or an event that you're really looking forward to. You can journal about your present. You can journal across the range of your emotions, your thoughts, even the dreams that you have at night, conversations you've had, goals and aspirations. And so journaling is like keeping a record of the events in your heart. And so it's keeping an internal account of what's going on inside you. And so the more that you do that, and the more that you take the time to jot down some of those thoughts, and over the weeks and the months and the years, you start to build up a catalog of your life and all the facets of your life. And what I have seen is that journaling really fosters self-awareness, and it brings a lot of clarity, because as you start to look back over your journal entries, you can see, okay, that's a trigger. That's something that I have struggled to find freedom in. And it's been 2 years and I'm still journaling about this person makes me feel that way, and I haven't yet overcome that. It can help you identify blind spots that you have in your character. It can help you realize some of your thoughts and your emotions, and it can help you to identify the difference between the voice of truth and the voice of fear and lies. And so I've done an exercise before where I have journaled for a couple of days something that I have felt very strongly about. And then I'll take a green pen and a red pen, and I go back over a few journal entries and I circle. I'll say, okay, what is the voice of truth and what is a lie? And I'll circle in green the things that are true, and then I'll see an emotion and I'll say, it feels real because my emotions are so strong, but that's a lie. And I can circle it in red, and then I can identify that, and I can then journal about that and find the voice of truth. And so I have found that journaling is so helpful for helping one to process their emotions, identify fears, and just to get perspective and clarity in their life. So I've recently completed a journal therapy diploma, and one of the aspects that I found most fascinating was the research that showed the physical benefits to journaling. And your physical and your mental well-being are actually affected by if you repress or express your emotions. And so what research has shown is how bottling up your negative emotions will always leak out of you in some way. You can find that people start to develop migraines. Sometimes they can have skin conditions. Sometimes they have high blood pressure. It can even lead to heart problems and chronic illnesses. And when you take the time to, instead of repressing your emotions, and you actually take the time to be brave enough and deal with them, no matter how strong they are or how terrifying they are, then you separate yourself from them and you get them out, and they're no longer festering inside your physical body. And so journaling is just a good habit that helps you to regulate your emotions. And I've seen that some people find that their emotions are so strong, or there's an event in their life that has been so traumatic that they can't even go there, and they just bury it under busyness. But what I have learned about journaling is that it's a very, very gentle but powerful tool to help someone process through that, because you can write a little bit, and the minute it gets too much, you can just close the journal and put it away. And then when you face it again, you bring it out, you write a little bit more, and slowly, 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 as you are ready and at your speed, you can start to process and write about some of those things. And some of the other concerns that people have highlighted to me about that process is they've said, well, what if what is inside me is so ugly that I'm terrified someone will read it? I can't even write those things down. It's better just to stay inside me. And so my response to that is, it's not better to stay inside you. Get it out. And I've got a friend who paints her pages in black after she's written ugly things, or you can burn it, or you can tear it up afterwards. But the idea is just to get those emotions out. And what it starts to do when you are really raw and honest like that is that you start to get to know yourself. And Aristotle has that famous phrase, know thyself. And I have found that journaling is such a powerful tool for you to get to know yourself, because it's a catalog of all the events that have happened in your life or in your heart over the years. And you can start to identify what makes you happy, what makes you feel really drained, what are some of your hopes and dreams, what people make you feel energized. And as you start to write about those things, you start to find common threads, common purpose, and it starts to give you some clues of who you are meant to be and what you in your best form looks like. And so there's a theologian called John Piper, and he writes a phrase called "there are eyes in pens and pencils." And I have seen that firsthand in my own life, how when you start to write down some of the things that are happening in your heart, the page that you write on and that pen that you use, it reflects back to you like a mirror, and you start to see things about yourself, you start to see things about situations and other people, and it helps you to gain clarity and purpose. And so for me, living in Zim for the last few years, my journals have really become a mirror for me. I have noticed some consistent threads, consistent themes, things that I've continually struggled with, areas that I've grown. And out of that, I have been able to formulate, what is my vision? What is my purpose? Why am I here? And when things are hard and my emotions are screaming at me that I want to give up, I want to leave, I go back to the concrete truth and I say, no, this is why I am here. So one of my favorite quotes about writing is the writer Ernest Hemingway. And he says, write hard and clear about what hurts. And if you can write honestly, it will always pay off. And so I really encourage you to try that. Some of you would be very comfortable with journaling, and others will say, oh no, A, I don't have the time, and B, I was never a writer at school, my spelling's terrible, and that's not for me. And that's absolutely fine. Everyone will have their own relationship with journaling, and you can journal in your own way. And so what I wanted to suggest to you are just some fun ideas of how you can attempt to journal. There's I'm a very old-fashioned paper and pen in a notebook kind of girl. I'm not very artistic, and my writing is very boring and plain, and my expression of art is to use a different color pen. But I've got other friends who they paint in their journals, and they'll tear out magazine pictures, or they take Polaroid snapshots off their phone and then they journal about it. And so they are much more creative and arty, and they are much more expressive. But one way that I have found is very approachable and very unintimidating for a startup journaler is to practice gratitude journaling. And what that is to just make a list of all the things that you are grateful for in your life. And it can be as simple as the smell of freshly baked bread, or it can be the laughter of your son, or it can be the cat purring on your lap, or whatever, just simple daily pleasures. And when you start to catch them, then you start to notice them, and you start to notice how many wonderful moments are in your life every single day. Because I think you can all agree with me that what we constantly look at in our lives becomes magnified. So if all you can see is the broken lawnmower, the bill that hasn't been paid, the car that keeps breaking down, and this trouble and that trouble, that is what your whole life feels like. But if you put on a different set of lenses and you start to take stock and be thankful for the tiny little moments of joy in your life, and you start to keep a list of them, you will see how quickly joy and gratitude can accrue in your life. And so alongside that, with the gratitude journaling, you can take one of those items like your son's laughter. And then if that's just a little bullet point that you've jotted, then can take and turn that into 2 or 3 sentences, and you could say why you are grateful for that. And then you'll find it's like getting the juices flowing, and the ideas will start to come. And another thing alongside that you could add to that is to download something from Google or ChatGPT and type in guided journaling prompts to help me find my purpose. And actually, one of the things that I am going to send out after the call from my contribution is 10 leading questions that you can ask yourself to journal about, which will help lead you towards finding a vision and a purpose in your life. So you should be getting those, you'll be getting those prompts soon. And what I like to explain to people is that you can approach those questions like a snorkeler or a scuba diver. You can just skirt the surface of it and just take a quick look and take a quick glance and say, okay, that's good, I'm done. Or you can be a scuba diver and you can really dive deep and you can write pages and pages and pages until you've got nothing left and you're done. And what you will find is that there will be some questions that will really appeal to you, and then there will be other questions that you don't need to answer in so much depth. And so it's a highly personal process, and you just need to, the questions that you are drawn to are the ones that you can, I encourage you to answer in more depth. And so another brilliant journaling option. This is for the more digitally arty people. This is something my daughter taught me 2 years ago, is that you can create a vision board using Pinterest pictures and Canva. So she had to teach me how to use all this technology. And she said, okay, Mom, what you need to do is let's think about 2025 and let's think about 10 things that you want to accomplish in 25. And so I jotted down a couple of phrases and thoughts. And then based on that, I then searched for the image in Pinterest. I found what I was looking for, and then I pulled it into Canva, and I then I spent a couple of hours creating this beautiful one-page snapshot of images, and I put it on as a screensaver for my year. And I've been looking at that every single day. So every time I open my laptop, I see 2025 looking at me. And so something like that is a really fun way to just think about what is your purpose for the year ahead or the season ahead in images. And so that really appeals to someone who is not so much of a pen and paper kind of person, but they respond more to images. And so that's something else that I am willing to offer one of you. I'm going to chat with Diane and get my email address sent out, and the first person to message me and who wants that service, I will sit with you and we'll have our own call for about half an hour, 40 minutes, and then I will take some notes and I will design you your own Canva image board. So that's something that I would like to offer the first lucky person who emails me. So we can chat about that at a later stage. So that's kind of wraps up my talk. I think there's some questions. Are we taking questions now, Diane, or at the very end?
Oh, we can. So I don't think I saw any questions in the chat, but if anyone have any questions, they can put it in the chat, or they can raise their physical hand or the reaction hand in the chat in Zoom. And Lisa will be more than happy to answer your question. But Lisa, I gotta say, what a generous gift to create someone's vision board. Thank you. And also the journaling prompts, another great gift. But to spend time, because we did a vision board party, and it was like it could be challenging for some, and I'm one of those people that's a challenge, getting the pictures and how to drag it in and how to. So yes, there goes Olga's.
Yes, well done, Olga. I saw a message from Christine. Do I journal every day? No, I don't. I think that's also one of the myths, that in order to be a journaler, you've got to journal every day. And so I would say I do journal very regularly. I'll go through phases where sometimes everything is calm and going well, and just a little check-in. A small journal entry is good. And then there'll be other times where there's something that I'm struggling with, or I'm sensing something, or I'm finding something difficult. And then I will journal. I'll go through a phase where I journal much more intensely. And I do try and wake up early, 5 every morning, and then my day starts at 6. And so I like to have that first part of the day. Sometimes I journal, sometimes I'll read an inspirational book, and sometimes I just sit and listen to the birds. So I don't journal every day, but I do journal regularly. So how vision boards work? Oh, where did that go? Hang on, let's just see here. How vision boards work when my biggest goals are inner world work, not so much material things. So I think that's a very good question. You could try and brainstorm and see what kind of picture, what I'm sure there would be a picture in your head of something, something that could represent your inner world. So if there was a little bit of conversation around it and some thought, I think that you could either, it doesn't always also have to be pictures. on the vision board, you can also create a phrase. And the other lovely thing that I've started doing for the last 3 years now is I try and come up with a phrase or a word for the year ahead, which helps, it helps me define the season that I feel that I'm in. So for example, in 2024, my word was adventure, because I felt that that was lacking in my life and I really wanted more adventure to come my way. And so I called it in and I found pictures and I wrote the word adventure across my vision board. And then that year I happened to get 2 completely paid for free trips under different circumstances, one to Switzerland and one to Cape Town. And so that was just the most amazing confirmation, and that was what I was sensing, and that's what came to me. And so it's if it's not a picture, you can try and find phrases that would also explain what you are sensing in your life. What did you do with the goals that didn't manifest in the current year? So sometimes I carried them over into the following year, and they also sometimes they just fell away. And by the end of that, I'm quite a calendar person, so I like to work from January to December. But I also know in the UK, your year kind of runs from September to August. So if you have chunks of seasons, I'll get some ideas or pictures and phrases for the season. And then at the end of the season, I evaluate whether that is important enough to carry over. Maybe it hasn't happened yet, or it's still in the very early stages and it's still relevant. Or you might find that it actually wasn't that important and it didn't really happen and it didn't really matter. So I'll determine whether to carry it over or just to ignore it. I have phrases on the board such as love yourself first and everything else falls into line. Do it for your future self, make yourself a priority. Yeah, those are absolutely lovely. I think you are the person who will know yourself best, and you know what you need and what the season ahead looks like for you.
So we have a question from, we have Mother Miranda's hand is up, and then we have Chris. So we'll go to Mother Miranda and then Chris.
Okay.
Yes,
Are you there?
Mother Miranda.
Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Where is my screen? Thank you very much for this presentation. I liked what you said at the beginning, the importance of vision and purpose, and clarity is big for me. You mentioned that we have moved away from the age of entertainment to the age of distraction. And I'm just wondering if such a statement rests with adults as against youth and children, because I'm wondering if they would be excited about this age, and such a statement is referring to adults more so than, as I said, youth and children. And if in fact this is in a way blinded by our young people, and therefore not achieving maybe what it is that you believe they could achieve had it not been for the label of distraction.
I think that the distraction is felt by everybody. It's not just children, and it's not a specific generation or a specific age group. I think that it is a pressure of society and just the way that our culture is going, that it is something that affects all of us. You look at kids now, toddlers, they can't yet read, but they can work their way around their mom's iPad and they know exactly what to do. Or I'm a school teacher by profession, and I find that I've actually stopped using screens in my class time because I find that the kids are so distracted that they'll quietly be playing Block Blast under their desks when they should be listening to me. And the minute that my back is turned to the board, they are distracted. And so I've just said, no, we are, I've got a digital board. And so I'm the one who controls the digital formatting in the classroom. And so I've tried to minimize the use of screens because of the distraction. And I make sure that when it's time to learn, they are focused on me. And then I've even seen it in my parents and my in-laws. You know, they're in their 70s now, and in my kids, in my friends, and myself. I think that it is something that we all have to fight, and we've all got to be aware, and we've actually got to be educated on how to be bored again and how to be entertained without using digital devices. How many of us stand in a shopping line or a bank queue, and the first thing you do is you put your phone because you want to either play a game or you're sending a voice note, you're finding things to do. And so it is a culture and a society norm that is affecting all of us.
Great answer.
Thanks.
So thank you, Madam Miranda, for that great question. So now we're going to go to Chris, and because of time is getting away from us, Chris will be the last one. And if anyone else wants to put their question in the chat, I'm sure Lisa will answer it in the chat. So Chris, are you up? You're up next.
Yes. All right. Lisa, thank you for this presentation. The one thing that I'd ask as a person of faith, how do you discern a vision from God and a desire of the heart?
So I'm also a person of faith, and that has been a very, very personal question for me because I have sometimes questioned my wants and desires against, is this what God wants and desires for me? And the answer that I came up with was a proverb that says, delight yourself in God and he will give you the desires of your heart. And so as you do the first part and you submit to God and you submit to allowing him to work on your heart, then what will happen is that he will change the desires of your heart. He will guide you. He will speak to you through pictures and images, and you will find that you will start to channel yourselves towards his purpose. And when you are actually doing what he has called you to do, it's the very thing that often makes you feel most alive. And it makes you feel like you have clicked with your purpose and you've clicked with why you were meant to be born on this earth. And that is when the great levels of satisfaction and just a love of life will come into your life.
Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Lisa, for such an amazing, you can see the chat is saying thank you so much. And for Lisa, Olga, you're gonna post Lisa's email in the chat. Now we know what's that prize, Lisa? The first person to email you is gonna get what?
It's going to get a call with me. I'll set up a call, and then I will do a personalized vision board through Canva and Pinterest based on that call for them. So should I put my email address now in the message?
Yep.
Okay.
Go on to the races. And everyone is also going to get Lisa's journal prompts. So we're going to have that in the email from Lisa. And so you can look, should be about either Monday or Tuesday. So look out for that. So Lisa, there it is. So thank you so much. And we look forward to hearing from you again.
Thank you, Diane.
Okay. So next up we have my dear guru sister, Kim Jordan, who I spent a week with in Costa Rica last month. And I've known Kim for over 4 years, and she is such an passionate nurse. She's all about health and wellness to the point where she would abuse her body. And I'm saying abuse because she would go through her entire shift without even using the bathroom. And that's really abuse to the body, right? So today she had that shift and she's here to talk to us about that. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about her. Her topic today is from burnout to wholeness, healing the body, reclaiming the soul. She's a certified nurse coach, licensed practical nurse, and the founder of Empowerment Pathways Coaching and Hope and Health Happiness Project. With over 20 years of experience in healthcare and a deep passion for holistic wellness, she helps individuals reclaim their health and purpose through mind, body, and spirit approach. So welcome to the Ascend Your Path's experience platform, Kim Jordan.
Thank you, Diane. First, I want to say, wow, Lisa, journaling is so powerful and something that I feel like at times if I'm not perfect in doing it every day, that I just can't do it. But my aunt has journaled for 37 years, and now she's finding it a gift to give people these journals from the lessons she's learned from it and the knowledge that she had. Yeah, so it's very powerful. I know. Thank you for sharing that. And everybody, thank you for being here. Oh, I send you my love. I am going to share my screen. Let's see here. Something. I need to fix something before I share here. Please be patient. Alrighty. Alrighty. Well, I've gone from burnout to wholeness. Healed my body, reclaimed my soul. I came back to myself. Came home to my body. We have mind, body, and spirit. And if we don't take care of our body, what are our mind and our spirit supposed to do? I am a certified life coach and a licensed nurse. And I did struggle with exhaustion, brain fog, anxiety, and chronic inflammation because I was caring for other people, not taking care of myself. And I also, at the age of 13, was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, which is hypothyroidism. And I lived most of my life in survival mode. Yes, went to the doctor. I got a prescription. But it wasn't it wasn't enough for me. I needed something more, and I wasn't eating healthy. I was, not going to the bathroom, like I said, on long shifts. I wasn't, I didn't know about gut health at the time and how it affects your overall body. And then I found something, and it did help me. It transformed my health, and it opened up new opportunities for me and to help others. And I really feel like it's my purpose. So I started with this company and using products that they offer, and they're all plant-based. They are things of the earth. And I feel like it's very important to put things in our body that God placed on earth for us to have. And I feel like there is medicinal purposes to the plants that are here. My breakthrough came when I did learn about that connection, though, with my gut and my thyroid, my overall well-being. And then I started using the system that focused on my gut and my blood sugar balancing and reducing the inflammation. So my energy started to come back. I was falling asleep in a chair about 6, 7 o'clock at night, and I was just done for the day. But once I started using these products, I got about 3 to 4 hours more out of my day that I could be productive. And my mood improved. I was happier. For the first time in years, I felt like myself again. I was able to do more. I was able to connect with more people. And I had I'll tell you a little bit more about the purpose. This is what happened was taking these products. I was feeling really good, and I decided I'm doing so well, I don't need to anymore. And I stopped taking care of my gut and not eating so healthy. Um, we had a car accident, and I'm not going to read from the screen. You can read from the screen. There are visual learners, and that's why I chose to have the screen. But we had a car accident, and my grandchildren were in the back of the car, and people, my honored name is Grandma Lovey, and
So Kim,
my grandchildren are so.
I'm sorry, Kim, to interrupt, but your screen is very blurry. Is that so I don't know if that's for everyone. Because we can't
Oh,
really read the screen.
oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm just going to talk then. Yeah, we had this car accident, and my grandkids were in the back seat, and I can still hear the shrill screams coming out. And it was a wake-up call to me because um it just reminded me that life is so fragile, and that I do have a calling, and I do have a purpose. And I know I was put into nursing. I know I was also put into the educational part. I worked in the schools for 10 years as a paraprofessional, as I worked on call in the nursing field after I got burnt out. And I became a life coach. And I know that all of these components came together for a reason. And it's the fact that I need to take care of my body first. And with life coaching came a lot of new things to learn, such as marketing and a lot of new things to handle. And when this company came along, I was put here to be educated more on how to do these things and how to help people with their wellness. And so the moment that I realized all of this came together here, even in the pain, I was just so grateful for my health, my faith in the community that I was put in, and it rebuilt my strength. I went through doctor's appointments, physical therapy, and yet it's the mind that is so, so powerful. And so learning about my gut and my overall well-being and how it helps me to my whole body, how's my mind and spirit. And um, over 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. I'm not sure if you know that, but right now it's fall season here, and the kids have gone back to school, and a lot of things, a lot of illnesses are coming around. And there was an illness that went around in where I'm working right now, and people were down and out for a week or two, and I was only out a couple days. And so I just know that because I'm taking care of my gut, it made a difference. Um, Inflammation doesn't just cause pain, it also affects your energy, your focus and your mood and your ability to lose weight. Um, yeah, the gut is so important. There's a vagus nerve that runs between our gut and our brain, and it affects our thoughts. So I use a triplex system. It's just three things, three steps, and one of it, and everything is in powder base so that you can travel and pack things in your backpack if you want to go for a hike. And it's something that you can use it and travel with and bring with you at any time. So it's just comes in a stick like this with powder in it. And this is this is what feeds the gut. So it's feeding those microorganisms or good bacteria in the gut so that they can produce more good bacteria. And then I use a probiotic, and this has 5 different strains in it of good bacteria. And it just helps to replace what has been lost. The American diet is we aren't getting what we need. And I know the government is working on even making things better because some of our products are different than what other countries have. And if you've ever flown, like I flew to Zimbabwe, where Lisa is, and as I went that way, we got healthier food on the different airlines. And so that there is the other step, and that is to get rid and cleanse your body of the candida yeast and the waste that is weighing you down. It gets rid of all those toxins. And so once you get rid of the waste and the toxins, you're a flow through, right? We should be a flow through. We should be a flow through in love. We should be a flow through in spirit. We should be a flow through in our own bodies. So after consistently using the system, I got more energy. Like I said, I got more out of my day. My digestion was better and I was regular. As a nurse, I talk about these things, right? We ask people every day. If you've ever been in the hospital, we'll come in and we'll ask you, have you had a bowel movement? It's important that you are a flow through. I experienced clearer skin and sharper focus, a balanced mood, less anxiety, and deeper sleep, and just an overall sense of peace and joy. My healing, my gut changed everything physically, mentally, spiritually. And it's why I'm so passionate about helping others. I want them to discover the same freedom that I have discovered. I know that I have something here that can help many people. Yeah, it just showed me that health is wealth. Health is wealth. It's very important. And I created a community, the Hope Health Happiness Project community. And it's a space for women who want to feel better, live fully, walk faith together. We focus on education, support, and transformation, one step and one choice and victory at a time. And we have a couple men too. And I'm going to share my screen. I do have a QR code here that I'd like to share. So let's see if I can, if this will come through okay or not. Well, let's see here. Well, if you would like to join my Hope Health Happiness Project community, please put your camera up to the Join My Wellness group. You can do it right now. And then also, I have a free gift. Grab it. It's about gut health and what you can do. There's some recipes in there. There's how water is so important for us. And there's so much information in there, really good information. So please grab that too. They're both free.
Okay, the QR code works, so that's great. And
Wonderful. Okay,
we're also gonna include it in our thank you email.
awesome. Good. Okay. And anybody who wants to book a call with me, go ahead and I think there's an extra link in there for when you join my wellness group that you can also book a call with me. And once you book a call with me and we meet, I'll send you a gift in the mail.
Okay. So Kim, thank you for such a wonderful presentation and also for your gift. And I know
You're
you're
welcome.
very generous. Thank you so much. And I know the last giveaway we had from you was I think you had to ship it somewhere, so you don't have a problem shipping stuff to anyone who wants something from you.
No?
Thank you. So
Yes.
there's a lot of thank yous in the chat. So are there any questions for Kim? Okay, do you see any questions in the chat, Olga?
I have a question.
Okay.
Hi, Kim. I'm accessing on my phone, so I'm having a little challenge. Thank you for your presentation. I'm doing some work on urinary tract dysfunction, and I'm just wondering, as a nurse and licensed health coach, uh, what contribution do you think that has made to burnout and lack of wholeness in the individual? In other words, it's
The urinary tract.
urinary tract. Okay, fine. Let me put it another way. So while I'm studying that, no, my real question is, um, the pelvic, the pelvic, the pelvic board challenge that we have, which cause us to rush to the bathroom often. If in this entire wholeness that you are guiding us to, if that has been factored in any of your research.
We have doctors who formulate the products, and UTIs are a lot of times caused from bacteria, and bacteria is fed from sugar. And uh, uh, the probiotics help to break down the candida, which is the yeast that's causing the infection. So it would help for urinary tract infections. This is an oxidated probiotic, so it makes it to the gut, and it has enzymes in there also to break down that hard core of the candida. So I can send you more information on that. Do you want me to? Can I get your email, Miranda? Will you send me that? Or give
Miranda
that
is
to me?
muted.
I'd love to.
Yes, I dropped my email in the chat, so we talk some more. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
And there's a question in from Lisa in the chat. Do you think kombucha?
Oh, yes. Kombucha is really good. It's a fermented drink. Yes, anything fermented, sauerkraut, kombucha, yogurt, all of those are really good for our gut.
Nice. Are there any more questions before we move on? Okay, Kim, well, thank you so much. And yes, we will be sending out your QR code in the chat. Somebody said they want to be a part of your wellness group. So that's amazing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just want to announce that we do have a winner for Lisa's prize. And it's our very own Gloria Askew, better known as Gigi. So is Gigi on here? Is Gigi still on? I don't know. I can't see.
Yes, I'm here, Diane. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Well, congratulations.
I'm so excited. I just needed that because it's been a desire of my heart. So yay!
Well, thank you. You have fun with Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. So thank you again so much for this opportunity to share with you. And before we move on to our next speaker, I just want to get you up to speed on what we're doing on for our company, You Transform 360. And so, Olga, if you could split the screen with me. So just to share with you, we're really so excited. 2025 was really, I felt was really amazing. And Lisa talked about having that word of the year. And my word for 2025 was trust. And Lord, did I have to really put my trust in God? I'm looking at how trust all over my house are stickies. And I'm looking at one right here now. I have it on my computer. So that was my word. And whenever the challenge would come, I had to say, trust God. Just trust God. And He has done amazing things. And so I really do believe in being intentional about what we're doing, how we're creating that purpose in life. And by saying so, as a company, we have been very intentional about what we're doing and being patient because everything is not falling right in place as we thought it would, but everything is perfect and it's on schedule. So we recently had our first luxury retreat, not our first retreat, but our first luxury retreat in Costa Rica. And there's a demand to do it again. So we're doing it again in 2027, which is going to be, I think, is around May of 2027, or we're going to have more details coming out. So we're really, truly excited about that. It was an amazing time spending this out there. And I just can't say enough. I look forward to going back. So, Olga, you want to share a little bit of what that experience about, and then we go to the next venture.
Yeah, that experience was magical. And I don't think people, when they arrived to our retreat center, they were not expecting to see all that luxury, all that calm, right? There are no TVs, there is no entertainment. It's us, basically, it's secluded to our group, and that's it. And as much as Diane and I were trying to do it relaxing and, with lots of free time, we didn't have any free time, it appears, right? We always had something that we were finding was very beneficial to do. Either the jacuzzi, even that experience was very impactful, right? Or just going through what that earth basically gifts us. We had our herbalism experience where a local guide was basically showing us all the plants that are growing on that land, and he was explaining us all the medicinal properties of these plants. It was such an amazing experience, right? And we prepared our own drink. It was very nice, very nice. So, of course, I cannot talk about everything that was going on there because it will take me an entire hour or two or until the evening. But we do have people who said, "Listen, I want to come back," and that's why we are now planning our 2027 retreat. Why not 2026? Because we have our stuff in 2026. And Diane can tell you what we are planning here.
Okay. So before we even move forward to that, is there anyone you can put your hand up, or even if you can't come on camera, who was at our retreat and would love to share in laser share on what that experience was like? I know I see a few people on here. We have Jay. Go ahead, Jay. Go for it.
Yeah, it was a marvelous experience on the side of a mountain in Costa Rica, a stream running through it, but you're just surrounded by the beauty of nature and birds and It was phenomenal to start the day down at the temple with yoga, meditation sessions. Throughout the day, there was all kind of learning experiences that we had. I was cautious because it was a completely vegan meal, and I'm on keto. So it was kind of the other end of the spectrum. But I enjoyed eating a lot of things I'd never eaten before. And so it was a wonderful time. I think the best part of it was the people who showed up were all on a journey, a personal journey of growth and enlightenment. And to be surrounded by people focused on peace and love and compassion for a week. I kind of took a digital holiday, wasn't on the computer, wasn't on the phone. And to separate yourself from the chaos that exists every day and go invest in your own personal journey was a marvelous experience. Highly recommend it.
Good. Thank you, Jay. And a lot of collaborations was birthed from that experience, from that week. People found clarity. Lisa talked about clarity of purpose, and there's people who had their own breakthroughs. They found what they said. Oh, now I know what I'm supposed to do. And talk about healthy eating. We did have it. Kim talked about the importance of healthy eating. So we did have a chance to do that. So
I would also add that the staff at this resort was phenomenal. They took special care for every individual who was there in tailoring foods, in showing care. I don't walk well on hills, and they had a little cart that would help take me up and down the mountain. And so I was able to participate in everything that I chose to do. And having an event where you are the only group, it wasn't like we were at a large retreat resort someplace with a whole bunch of vacationers. Everyone there was participating in the same experiences, and that was a great experience.
but thank you for that addition. So any quick laser share before we move on to our next? No, I have one more announcement to make. Any more laser share about Costa Rica? I see Kim is trying to find her unmute button.
Okay. Yes. Um, it was an amazing experience. There was a river that you could put your feet in. There was a hike that it was like nothing I've done before. It was very challenging, and there was people there to help you when you needed help, or I was helping others. And so it was a really educational learning experience. And for those who couldn't, there was somebody who wanted to put them on their back even. So there's for everything, there was a way. And yes, the staff were so attentive to us, every little need that we had. Anybody who experienced any unwellness, they were right there. And they made them a tincture. Like they made them tea, or they made them something to help with their gut. And just everything. We were so well taken care of. And it was an unbelievable retreat. One that I've never been at before, because this one really spoke to your soul. Others are more of an experience that I've just been to. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks
so
for letting me share.
Thank you. So that's a little bit about our Ascent to Purpose retreat. And next for 2026, we have a couple of things that's coming up that's really kind of major. And we are collaborating. So one of my things that I struggle with as the host of Ascend Your Path, and it was like, okay, we have so many speakers, and I've been doing this for got to be about 4.5 years. And so many speakers has crossed the stage. Some have come back a few times, and it's like, okay, and then I know they want to do other things, but how can I help move them to that next part? Okay. So I'm collaborating with a voice and stage coach. I'm so excited. And those of you who were on last month, you got a little treat her because she came on. She couldn't come, but she'll be on in November to share what that experience is going to be like. And it's going to be a 3-month training. Part of it is going to be virtual, and there's a weekend where it's going to be in person. We're going to be out in Florida, and you're going to be trained on your stage performance, your presentation, how to talk to a group of maybe 100, and a group maybe, who knows, 10,000. I don't know, whatever that journey is, but it's going to be voice training. And she's also uses psychology, because what I did not know, that childhood trauma could really affect your voice. So she's going to be doing a lot of work with that. And also, so we're gonna have she's gonna do some Reiki training. I don't know much about Reiki, so I can't really speak into that. So, but those of you who know about Reiki, she's also a Reiki trainer. But her key is she's a voice coach in corporate mainly. But she loves, we met and she says, I want to work with you guys. And so we're collaborating with that. And so we're gonna start we're gonna have something in place by next month, November. And we're gonna kick it off in January. So by May, we're gonna have our first in-person training with her in Florida. So more details are gonna come along with that. So Olga's gonna add.
Yeah, so Millie was saying that it's not only speaking from the stage, it's also how you speak in your life. It can be with your partner, it can be at work, it can be anything, because everywhere we use our voice, we use our intonation, like everything, right? So this is what she is going to teach us.
Yes. So it's not just for speakers, coaches, or professionals. It's for everyone, because we all have a voice and we all want to be heard. Okay, so I'm truly excited about that project. So that kind of closes the gap a little bit on how to ascend your path to the next level. And also we have our book launch, which our book will be published at the end of November, our second anthology. And most of the speakers came from right here, from Ascend Your Path. So we're going to have that book launch probably in December. And we're going to work on having something live where we're going to collaborate with Dr. Forbes Riley to do an in-person book signing with her and photo shoot. So that's going to be coming in 2026. I'm going to be meeting up with her in a couple of weeks. And so I'll have more information on how we could coordinate that in-person book signing. Right now we have one spot remaining. One spot, only one spot. So whoever wants to take that spot, or you know someone who wants to take that spot, grab that spot now, because our book launch, we didn't even have a celebrity. And with our 12 authors, and not that we all are celebrities, but I'm talking, the influencers who have all of these followings, in less than 12 and a half hours, we went to number one. Now, mind you, when we did the book launch with Les Brown, we went to number one in 4.5 hours. But Dr. Forbes Riley, the woman she is unstoppable. So I can see us going number one, and she's so incredible. She loves to serve. So I know this opportunity to be a part of this anthology and to be with her and to meet her in person is going to really add a lot of value. Okay, so we have that one spot. So whoever wants to take that one spot, text me or put it in the chat. We'll get back to you. And what else am I missing, Olga? I think, is that it? I think that's it, right? So
This is it, yes.
Without further ado, let me talk about how this next spot our next speaker came about. So we never know when you come on the stage who you're talking to. And our next speaker, when we did our last book launch, she came because Christlyn Benjamin, one of the authors, invited her. And she says, I'm only coming for you. And she stayed the entire 3 hours. And that was just a couple of months ago. And here she is today. She is back on this stage as a speaker, and she's also a participant, an author in the anthology. So we don't know, share the word. Okay, we don't know whose life we're going to touch, because everyone here is here for a purpose, like Lisa says. Okay, and it's only you who can touch that person. So why not go for it? So without further ado, let me introduce to you Dr. Dr. Marisa. I hear all the puppy, right? My thing is going off. Dr. Marisa Mason Smith. Her topic today is trust the process. There goes that word trust. To tell you a little bit about Marisa, she's an HR professional, transformational leader, she's a mediator, she's an executive, and a life coach. And she's also a motivational speaker. She has dedicated her life to serving God and humanity. A respected national and global leader, she advocates for the advancement and empowerment of women and girls. Marisa is a passionate and compassionate servant leader and is trusted in her sphere of influence, as she values and respects people no matter the stage and cycle of their life. So let's welcome to the Ascend Your Path experience, Dr. Marisa Smith.
Thank you so very much. Oh my goodness, what an awesome morning it's been, an experience. And I really want to thank my other presenters, Kim and Lisa, for setting the stage for this morning. You talked about purpose and talk about knowing certain things about yourself. And so I'm very honored and privileged to be on this stage today. And thank all of you for the opportunity. Today, I'm focusing on trust the process. And my focus is going to be, and say to all of us, have you ever experienced disappointment, rejection, betrayal, denial? Have you ever been overlooked for a promotion? You've prepared yourself for the opportunity. You have worked so hard. You, in so many cases, have done all the right things. You have tried it all, and at the end of it, you have not achieved your purpose at that time. In some cases, you have worked so hard with your colleagues, your friends, your peers, and believed that all that you did, it was your time to be promoted. It was your time to get that benefit. It was that time to sit in the big chair and be large and in charge of that organization. It was a time when you felt like, why is life so unfair to me? Why did I get that medical diagnosis? Why was I terminated from that job? Why did I go through a divorce? Why is my family dysfunctional? And the list can continue and continue. Why am I financially broke? Why is it that I don't seem to be making the progress that I should? My foundational scripture for this session comes from Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. I have found that in life, there are so many areas that can cause us to become derailed, dysfunctional, and in some cases, we find ourselves lost, like Little Red Riding Hood. We do not know where exactly we're going. When we have experienced such issues, we can have anxiety, we go through disappointment, we doubt ourselves, we withdraw ourselves. And whether you're a believer and one of faith, we have experienced loss, disappointments, and many times overlooked when we felt it was our time. I ask you today, as we look at ourselves and as we talk about trusting the process, have you thought that it was just your time or your turn? Or was it your turn and just not your time? As a result of the experiences, have you been left bitter, depressed, stressed out, hopeless, heartbroken, self-doubt, and a lack of confidence, which has become a way of life, that you feel that these behaviors, attitudes, affect your forward mobility. Have these experiences affected your character and negatively impacted your value, your influence, and your delays in life? I know, as a woman of faith, that God's timing is perfect. I know that in His Word, we know that all things work together for good for those who love the Lord. I also understand that God perfects those things that concerns our lives. A brief testimony I wish to share, and that is from an area of employment, an area that I prepared myself for. And on one occasion, I felt that I had it all together. I had all the qualifications. I was offered a job in an organization, and then I was told that they gave it to someone else. However, at that time, I felt like, wow, what is this all about? I remember my dear mother who said, that is not for you. I want you to trust God and trust the process. She says something more and better is coming. And I can assure you and say today that in 30 days of that declaration and affirmation, it did come. Additionally, at that time, my daughter was in transition from high school to college, and she wanted to go off to the US immediately. I said to her, I can assure you that I cannot afford to send you to university now, but by the time you finish your first degree, I will have a better job where I'm able to fund you and you're able to excel. Because she was also a very bright girl. She had 5 scholarships at the University of the Bahamas, and she felt like, oh, nobody's going there. However, through prayer and in discussion, she accepted and went on to the University of the Bahamas and completed her first law degree. By the time she graduated from the University of the Bahamas, I was in my new role and in my new position where I had the funds, in fact, funds that I didn't even know what to do with, excess funds, because I waited, I trusted. I said I was not going to get no bank loan. I wasn't putting myself in no more debt, but I knew that God was going to come through for me. I say to you and to all of us, there are seasons in our lives that we must understand and appreciate. Seasons change. We're never going to stay in winter. We're not going to be in summer all the time. And so I encourage us all, do not get stuck in any season of your life. Take off those winter clothes when it's summer. And then when it's summer, put on the most beautiful clothes that you have and come to the Bahamas. I encourage you that when we talk about getting stuck, we refuse to let go of the past. We hold on to bitterness. We hold on to unforgiveness. As we talk about trusting the process, we must be mindful that there are no shortcuts and quick fixes in our lives. Therefore, we must refocus, realign, and at times start all over again. It is never too soon to quit. If you have ever experienced any of these setbacks, which are, in my opinion, are only set up for a great comeback. In today's presentation, I'm going to align some of my life to the story of Joseph. And I don't have enough time to share it. But in essence, and all of us, I am sure many of us can have that or share that we've had a pit to the palace experience. From ruling to reigning was Joseph's life. We talk about David. Was Joseph's journey easy? No. He was a favored child. But because of his faithfulness, focus, his commitment, his character, his loyalty, and faith in God, he went from being one who was in prison to becoming Pharaoh's chief leader and also and leader of a nation at that time. So when we talk about Joseph's life, he had a spirit of excellence. And in spite of his challenges, he was rejected, but he became one of the most respected team members in Pharaoh's camp. In essence, as is scriptured, and I say to all of us, to encourage us, and the Lord was with Joseph, and the Lord is with you, each of us, that we can look at our lives and roll back the curtain and say, if it was not for the Lord on my side, where would I be? And so many times we may begin to feel this entitled spirit, that we feel that life is unfair. Why did this happen to me? Why? But you know, we trust in the Lord and be anxious for nothing. In life, we will all experience transitions. Transitions does not come with a manual, but it comes full with God's word, his promises, which are yea and amen. Transitions are not interruptions, in my opinion, but an invitation to trust God at a deeper level. Joseph's transition as a favored son to a foreign slave to Pharaoh's advisor is a journey filled with pain that ultimately led to purpose. So today, as we talk about trusting the process, we can put our flesh, our thoughts in man, but you know what? Nothing like this, the word says, the arm of flesh will fail you. Some of us on this call have experienced where persons who are closest to us have disappointed us. There have been many times that persons felt that, because of jealousy, there is situations that affect us. So I say to all of us, life is full of crossroads. In all that we do, we must be courageous, confident, and choose wisely and invest in a coach. Invest and build a network, a quality network, because the quality of your network affects your net worth. Additionally, be careful who are the persons who are in your life. As I study scripture, the Lord himself started out with 70. He brought it down to 12, and his inner circle was 3. So today, your title, the position that you hold today, does not define your worth. Your character does. As human beings, as we realize that life is not a straight line, it is filled with bends, it is filled with detours, there are stop signs, and there are things that we think may be hurting us, harming us. But based on my life experience, these are put in place many times to protect us. The Lord instructs us to wait on the Lord and to be of good courage. That trusting the process means waiting on his time, aligning your purpose with his will, investing in his word, and trusting his plan. Study his word. Life will test your patience before it rewards your persistence and perseverance. The waiting phase in our lives sometimes may seem like punishment, but it is a time to recalibrate and prepare for the next opportunity. The future belongs to the consistent, not necessarily to the talented, not necessarily to the lucky, but the one who shows up, even when it's hard, shows up and know that greatness is within. When we trust the process and trust the Lord and lean not to our own understanding, doors begin to open. God directs our paths, And what was meant for evil, turns out to be really good. Today, I ask myself, when you look at your situation, your circumstances, the journey of your life, are you satisfied that this is your time or turn? Or is it your turn and not your time? Are you experiencing the joy and the peace and the success that you're waiting for? Maybe you are holding that door closed because you have not unlocked the brighter future filled with success that God has destined for your life. Are you holding on to keys of unforgiveness, bitterness, hate, remorse, and that you feel that someone has done wrong to you? I say today, it is never too late to start again. I encourage us, find a mentor, join a network where growth and positive affirmations can guide your destinations. Do you have positive affirmations that you speak to yourself? Do you have your network that can encourage you and propel you to even greater? Can you guide your own destination so that you can self-actualize and unleash the keys with a renewed and winning mindset? Stir up the passion and leverage the talents, giftings, and abilities to live a more abundant life? Have you thought that at the end of 2025, you are still where you began in 2025? It's time to pivot. It's time to pursue. It's time to process your life again and realize that prosperity belongs to you. Remember, the sky is not your limit. You are. Do not compare yourself with others. We must trust the process and be patient because time prepares you for purpose, progress, and peace. I encourage you today, realign yourselves with positive people. Refocus on your skills, your abilities, and your strengths. Refocus and begin to realize that no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. If you trust the process, you know the process, understand the process, and forget the past because the past is the past. Let go of any baggage today and let us begin to refocus, get ourselves together as we trust the process. God will never allow you to fail. His word does not allow us to fail. Being a woman of faith, and for many of us, we are people of faith, I say that we already have a head start. So I say today, the quality of your network determines the value of your net worth. As Mark Twain says, and I would quote, keep away from people who try to belittle your ambitions. Small people do that, but the reality is great ones make you feel that you are too, and you too can become great. When you are trusting the process, take time to listen to the small voice. Listen to truth. Build yourself up in an environment that you know that will allow you to grow. And I close in this quote from the Fine Home community. You are the gardener of your own being, the seed of your destiny. Trust the process. God is with you. Your best days is still ahead of you, and it begins today. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Marisa Mason Smith, for such a great presentation. It was so powerful. My pen kept going, so I was leaned in, and I showed there's a lot of comments in the chat, so I know everyone was pretty much leaned in. So today, as always, on all the years I've been doing this, the speakers never really get a chance to really work with each other or really communicate. And every single time, there's always that common thread. And today, that common thread is the word purpose. You know, fine, it started off with Lisa with the purpose. It started off, it then went on with Kim with the purpose of living and having a healthy gut. And here you go, you ended up ending us with the word purpose, the power of purpose. You know, this is so amazing. I thank you so much. And is there any questions in the chat? Olga, if not, you could raise your hand. You could ask Dr. Marisa whatever questions you have. I know she's more than happy to answer. I see Miriam's hand, Miriam Smith, she loved that word pivot. So, I keep seeing her responses in the chat. So great. So any questions? Okay, let me look in the chat. See
Just lots of love and no questions.
Can I?
Chris Gray. Chris, we have Chris. Sorry. Hillary, you had a question?
Yeah, it's not really a question, it's a comment. I am also a person of faith. Thank you for that wonderful, all the speakers have been wonderful. One of my favorite scriptures is, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God. And no matter what your situation, when you have that heart of thankfulness and gratefulness, it just changes everything. So thank you.
My pleasure. God bless you.
Thank you, Hillary. And so we did it. So now we have Chris.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, because it goes along with, we asked the question earlier with, Joseph was a person of vision, and I asked Miss Kim earlier, is like, how do you discern the two? And it's because we get down the vision, and for people of faith, it's like we focus too much on the vision and not what God has for us. And I was appreciative of that. And with this one, I learned something new, because we talk about Jesus's 12 disciples and not the 17, and then he went down to 12, and surrounding yourself with the right people. And you being here is, everything happens on purpose. Some of the things that I'm challenged with, but it's I appreciate that, and Diane and Olga for putting this together, because these are people that I came across, and they've become my sisters, and they just check in on me and building me up and speaking life into me. And I appreciate that, and bringing this group together, because you never know how our lives are going to intersect. And you just inspired me today, and thank you for that. And Kim, I didn't forget about you. I listened to yours too. We have family things going on right now, so I had to step away for a second, but I always enjoy hearing you as well and what you have going. But this has really spoken into my heart today, and I really needed this.
Thank you so much, and God bless you too.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, any more questions? We still got a little bit of time. And if for everyone, if you can get on camera, we would love to take a screenshot. Okay, so you can get ready until so we
And
can
we
do
do
that.
have a giveaway too.
Oh yes, we do have a
Miss
giveaway.
Diane, do I give you the opportunity to do that?
Okay, you can go right ahead, Dr. Marisa Smith.
Are we spinning the wheel today?
No, we don't have a wheel today.
Okay, well, I guess the first two persons who respond in the chat, I am willing to provide 2 45-minute private coaching sessions for you.
Oh, we got some.
There you go. We already have two people, Miriam and Maxine. And Chris is the third one.
I wanted to say me, but I didn't get to
keep it going, keep it going, keep it going.
Me.
Yeah,
Well, just put your names in, and Olga and Diane will get the contacts back to me, and we will do it.
Okay.
This is part of trusting the process, that you came on to this session with an expectation.
Yes.
And you will leave with what you came for.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that generosity. Okay, well, thank you so much for that. And so yes, so Olga will capture the names, and we'll send it out, and we'll give you Dr. Marissa's Smith's information on how you could arrange for your coaching session. And I know you're in for an amazing coaching session as well. So she is just a powerhouse. So I thank you so much, and I really appreciate Kristen for introducing you to us and our community. So thank you. Okay. Any final words from you, Dr. Marisa?
I just want to encourage persons to trust the process. And trust the process is not just a cliche, but you really have to understand why you exist. Understand your purpose. I also want to say that even in these sessions, we sometimes talk about vision, but sometimes you need to go back and rewrite the vision, because sometimes the vision that you once had, you've exhausted that. And now you find that you're stuck and you can't go forward. So it's important to have executive coaches and to join sessions like this that can help reformat your focus and also your mission, because you will find that what worked last year is no longer effective this year. As was said earlier, we're so distracted by so many things. Purpose remains the same. So regardless of the distractions, the disappointments, the issues that we experience in life, be it political, spiritual, family-wise, financial, economic, we trust the process because God is going to come through for you. I am a testimony of his faithfulness, and I am no more loved than any one of us. So I said, join a network. As I said, your quality of your network will determine the outcome of your net worth.
Yes.
We all want to see an increased net worth. So build yourself around people who are going to strengthen you, encourage you, motivate you, and help you realign your purpose for greater. Today is a good day to start again.
But I thank you so much, girl. You preach. That's all I can say. And one of the things I got from this, and I never heard it put this way: the sky is not the limit; it's you. I really love that. And after I say it 3 times, it's going to be mine. So I thank you for sharing that. And another great one for me was the future belongs to the consistent. So many times we come up short. It reminds me of the book Acres of Diamonds, and so we give up too soon.
Yes.
Okay. And so we have to be consistent and stay persistent on this journey in order for us to really live our purpose.
I also want to add as well is be careful and be trusting the process who you share your dreams and goals with. Because if you come across a person who's equally dejected, rejected, in pain, hurting, you're going to have a pity party. And you're not going to leave there feeling revived and rejuvenated for what God has destined for your life. So my thing is, these principles do not change. Principles just do not change. And so I encourage you, find the right people. Sometimes you have to get rid of some of your friends, some people who've been in your network for a long time. Yes, you respect them where they are, but sometimes they have outgrown their usefulness. And usefulness not as people, but in the future of where God is calling you and to be. So you have to be very mindful that this is intentional. You must be intentional about achieving your bright future and the better things of life that you so desire.
Yes, great advice. I learned that lesson. A coach of mine told me that many, many, many years ago. Be careful who you share your dreams with. Because they don't have to even say anything. Something might be just that look, and that could really affect you. So thank you so much, and I love your background. People first. That's something I live by. Always put people first. It's all about service. So Olga, are we ready to take that picture? And we could also put in the chat, talk about joining a community. Join our community. We are a loving community. So Olga could also put the link in the chat, and let's connect and grow together. So I said 2025 was the setup, 2026 is the explosion for you transform. Okay, so if you're ready to come on camera, let's all get on camera.
Let's all get on camera. Oh, that my camera is. Okay. I have too many cameras.
I know.
Okie dokie. Any more people would love to be on camera? We have lots of people right now, which is amazing. Let's see. Are you ready? Okay, let's do hearts. Let's do whatever you want to do. So it will be
I don't
beautiful.
know how to do that heart business.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Nice.
One more?
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's
Thank you so much. So I see we have our speakers for November. I see we have Christine is here. So Christine, can you give us a little wave? Christine is here, and we also gonna have Hillary is one of our next speakers. Where's Hillary? There goes Hillary. They are amazing. And do we have Dawn? I think I saw, did I see Dawn earlier? I think I saw Dawn earlier, right? So, but yes. So we have next month is I'm just looking forward to this. Okay, I'm saying put it in your calendar now, lock it down because the November is going to be amazing. Christine and Hillary, both, it's from all three of you all is from the UK, right? Not to them is from the UK. So yes, so it's going to be the UK on fire. And Sandra, you might still be in the UK.
They're going to be presenting from the same house, right? Christine, you're all going to be together there.
Yes. So we are so thrilled to hear from you guys next month. And I say, what date is that again? It's right after Thanksgiving for the US.
November 28th.
November 28th. And it's 10 to 12 Eastern Standard Time.
29, babe.
29.
29. Okay. Done. Okay, so when that email goes out for you to sign up and make sure you have your link to join. So I want to say thank you all for joining. Any closing words, any final words from our speakers? Lisa, any final words?
No, nothing, just other than to say thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed listening to the other speakers, and I love the way that the content flowed. You'd think the three of us had planned this, but yeah, it was just brilliant. So thank you very, very much.
Every single time, Diane.
Yep. And what about you, Kim? Any closing words?
I don't know why, but God's putting this in my mind right now. And I've not said it before. It's just something that's coming to my mind. And it's this cliche saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Because the fibers in the apple will feed your gut. So eat an apple today, people. And Dr. Marisa, I like I had said earlier, I brought right back to my purpose. So I really feel like your message is so powerful. Because I don't think God is going to let people stop until he puts them back into their purpose and right where they're supposed to be. So I love that. Trust God.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you again in November the 29th, 10 to 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like I said, we have one spot available in our anthology. So grab that spot before, if you really want it, let's talk. And we look forward to seeing you again, and have a blessed and wonderful week. May God's blessing be upon you. Thank you.
Thank you. 11:55. 1155. Divine timing. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.